Hey everybody, this is Dragline, Dr. Awesome's partner in crime on Twitch. I'm just here to talk a little bit about Doomsday. He's one of my personal favorite champions in the game right now, and I play a lot of games with him, and I have so much fun playing him. He's a really strong champion. He's actually the baseline that Infinite Crisis did all their recent balancing on the other champions. Like, they used him as a guideline for all their decisions with the other champions. Right now I see a lot of people playing him, and I see unfortunately a lot of people using him like Batman, or basically any champion that you just spam your abilities when they're off cooldown. And you would think that he's a straightforward champion. He's just big and beefy. You just run up to somebody and punch them until they're dead. But he actually requires a little bit of thought behind utilizing him effectively. When his abilities are off cooldown, you don't necessarily want to go ahead and use them, like his charge or his Q. You have to always be thinking about your position in relation to the enemy. His charge does very little damage when you first target people with it, but if you can smash them into a wall or an object, you'll do a lot more secondary damage, and you'll also stun them, allowing you to follow up with Qs and auto attacks and just immobilizing them for a while. Here in a second you're going to see me wall smash Zatanna because she's carelessly fighting next to a wall, and you don't want to do that when you're playing against Doomsday. You kind of want to stay away from them as much as possible. So what I'm going to do next is just kind of space out my Qs a little bit so that when she runs, my third Q stuns her and I can punch her one last time, just to kind of maximize my damage. Just remember, when you're playing Doomsday, you're basically playing the Kool-Aid Man. I would love to see Infinite Crisis come out with a Kool-Aid Man skin for Doomsday. I bet he probably even trained the Kool-Aid Man, just like Mr. Miyagi trained the Karate Kid. In Gotham Heights, I tend to focus on maxing my E first, his charge, because it does the most damage out of all of his abilities. Then I follow up with maxing out my Q. I only put 1 point into my W, mainly because it scales off of power damage, which is a wasted stat for him, and it does very little damage regardless. But the big benefit with that is once you hit level 6 and you ult, you can hit W to get a 20% burst in speed, which is essentially like getting another flash of super speed out. And here in a second you're going to see me pop that so I can keep up with Gaslight Batman, who tries to run away. And unfortunately right there you see me miss a wall smash. He actually has one of the hardest abilities to land successfully in the game. His E is easy to target people with. You just click on them and he'll charge them. But the difficulty is making that charge hit a wall. Because you can mistime your charge and take 2 steps too far, or they suddenly take 1 or 2 steps in one direction, and your perfectly lined up wall smash suddenly doesn't do anything, and in some cases it can put you in a really bad position. One of the best things you can do with him to help land wall smashes is just kind of wait, let the enemy make a mistake basically. Like a few seconds ago, Wonder Woman tried to go in for a health pack, and I was baiting her in basically because I knew I could take a few steps and she'd be in range with my charge. The other thing is you can do a lot of tactical retreating. So when people are engaging you, you can kind of pull back and angle yourself so that they put their back to a wall, and then you turn around and do a counterattack. You hit them into a wall, and then you do a ton of damage, and then suddenly they're thinking about retreating. Another trick you can do, you don't see it in the videos here, but it is pretty handy, is his Q ignores unit collision when you're using it. So the best way to utilize that is to force an enemy to engage you near a wall. And when you're fighting, you just Q behind them. Typically you can do it with 1, maybe 2. And then you just hit an E and you knock them into a wall. It's less obvious than trying to click around them, because good players are going to see that you're moving, and they're going to adjust their position so you don't knock them into a wall. As far as just doing some general improvements in your gameplay, if you're playing Doomsday for the first time or learning the game, is you just go back, analyze your game. Just try to think about like what you were doing wrong or what you could have been doing better. Like in these video clips, a lot of times you're going to see me, using my W when I'm not ulting. And like I said earlier, you typically only want to use that when you're trying to chase somebody to stick to them, or to use it as a quick escape. It's just so tempting that when you're engaged in a fight, to use all of your abilities to try to do as much damage as you can, and you really have to kind of resist that temptation. Just like Day 9 says, how to be a better gamer, you got to go back and just think about what you can do differently that's going to make you more effective. The other thing you're going to see me do a lot in these clips is when I'm in a fight, I will try to reposition myself just by manually clicking, so I can try to get an angle off on a wall smash. And like I said earlier, you need to always be thinking how you're going to knock them into a wall, because I don't think people realize how much damage that actually does, on top of the fact that you're stunning them for a while and then they're helpless for a few seconds. That's all I have right now, guys. I plan on doing more videos in the future, and I didn't want to get too in-depth with Doomsday at the moment, just to do a basic video overview of him. I do have a Gotham Heights guide over at dawnbase.com. I'll get the link in the description, so if you go there, you can kind of see a little bit more detailed as far as how I build him for that map.
Was the cheapest of gifts. It's like a weight has been lifted, and I'm sorry I missed it, cause it sounds like a blast. We've got trophies for boredom, like checkmail and sword. I'm not wasted, I'm safe, 1 foot shaking in the grave. And this sounds like our lives have been tight. It takes money to help ourselves get right. This feels like it isn't real life. I'm sad that you're so lonely, floating in space. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to me or kill me off comfortably. It's not like I mind you poking me in the eye, but she's another story, and rather long and boring, with a rough and a spine. I'm trading love from my life. Is this what being killed feels like? And just bugs that gather around the porch light. If life's so long, but almost gone, just give me something to hang on. 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 Promise unkept, another day that's been slept. We want a love that went stale, another lover for sale. And she's got all sorts of problems, and now somehow I got them. She spreads like a rash, I have to feed her with cash. She's spreading thin on my soul, and I've got no place to go. Can you help me? I'm cheap, I'm passing out in my sleep. Is this what dead people feel like?